Let's go. The 49ers come away with a W, much needed W today against the Falcons. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about, I see you already doing it. Drop a W in the chat. Spam a W in the chat because you know why it's dubs only. We got it, and it is phenomenal. Super excited. I don't know about you guys. Obviously, we followed this team very closely. We watched them. This journey started in January for us. Look at the W's in the chat. We love to see it. It's been a long road. This team has been fighting through this year, trying to find an identity, correct? We have been trying to identify who is this team? What is this team? Who do we expect to see day in and day out, Sunday in and Sunday out? Who is going to show up? That team that we saw today, that felt like a 49er football team. That felt like a team with an identity. Felt like a team that been here before, has done this before. This ain't no first time rodeo for them. They've been here. And that is one of the first times for me personally, I've really truly felt that this year. I tweeted about it earlier. I said, this feels like a championship energy that we're getting from this San Francisco 49ers team today. We got it from across the board. We got it from coaching. We got it from individual effort. We got it from team effort. We got it from bouncing back through adversity. We got it in every single way imaginable, and it was fantastic. So, again, it's super fun to get the W, but what's more fun is that it feels like this team is figuring out who they are, what their identity is, and how they continue to stack this momentum. A lot of people were calling for, let's put in the backups. They're up 31-13. I was like, we understand that when a team is still trying to find an identity, to identify with something, we understand with this team, we've seen them let teams come back late in games. We've seen this team go up good and feel great, and then all of a sudden, boom, like that, things change. So I was not for sitting the starters. I was for keeping them in and keep the foot to the pedal, foot on the throat, whatever analogy you want to use. This team had to keep fighting. They had to keep going. And I love that they didn't take out the starters. I love that they just kept working it down the field. We're going to get into individual performances. We're going to talk about who we liked, what we liked, maybe what we didn't like. But first of all, let's start with coaching. Let's just start with coaching. Like Kyle Shanahan, DeMeco Ryans, those two today, phenomenal, fantastic, beautiful. Coaching matters. And today, those two showed you why coaching matters. Now, it takes the players on the field to go out and execute and do the job. We all know this, but it all starts up front. It starts with the game plan. It starts with the mentality. And right now, the 49ers coaching staff, again, big shout out to DeMeco Ryans for what he's been able to do this year in his rookie year as a defensive coordinator, how he's able to get these guys going amidst injury, amidst tons of situations. Again, DeMeco Ryans had his back against the wall a ton this year and has figured out how to get it done, make the correct adjustments, personnel adjustments, whatever it is. DeMeco Ryans is getting it done. Kyle Shanahan calling a fantastic game. Just keeping, again, we talked about it earlier, keeping the pedal to the metal. Kyle just kept it on him. He just kept pushing it on him and did not let up. And I think those two things, when we talk about identity, starts with those two. Starts with the coaching staff, starts with the positions that they're putting their players in to be successful, and the guys just got to do the rest. And what's so great about a victory like this against the Falcons is that we see what happens when both things are aligned. It's good football. Tell him, coach, it's good football. So I'm really excited about what we saw today. There's so many positives. Let's start on the offensive side. Shout out Jeff Wilson. Shout out Jeff Wilson. Not only Jeff Wilson, again, Jeff Wilson balled out 21 carries, 109 yards rushing, and a touchdown. That's 5.2 a carry. That is legit type running. That type of running absolutely wins games. And of course, with Jeff Wilson, we're gonna commend him for his vision, his tough running. The way he sets up his blockers is beautiful, but we also have to give so much credit today for that 49ers victory to not just the 49ers offensive line, but to the tight ends, to the running backs, to the wide receivers, to the offensive line. Of course, everyone was blocking today. Everyone was blocking. That's the point. Everyone was maximum effort every chance that they had. And with that, we saw this team really prevail as a result. So honestly, how everyone performed as a blocker was phenomenal. It was fantastic. It was so much fun to watch. Trent Williams, again, it starts with Trent Williams. What Trent Williams is doing in there, again, still otherworldly. I don't even know if that guy's from this planet. I think he might be from Saturn or something. I have no idea, because Trent Williams is just playing at a level right now that is insane. It's absolutely insane. So with Trent, it's imperative to continue to watch his continued maturation to further. So honestly, the offensive line did great. Brunskill did great. Compton did great. Like Thomason did great. Alex Mack did great. The entire offensive line played phenomenally. Kyle Juszczyk did great. Kyle Juszczyk had a touchdown. One of the touchdowns that he had was right off the butt of Daniel Brunskill. Beautiful down block by Trent Williams. Everyone was balling, man. So the blocking was phenomenal up front. It was a fun game, man. It was a fun game from offense, defensive side, all of it. There we go. So honestly, overall, from the offensive standpoint, I mean, we got touchdowns. Who did we get touchdowns by? We got a Debo touchdown. We got a Jeff Wilson touchdown. We got a Kyle Juszczyk touchdown. We got a Jawan Jennings touchdown. I mean, we talked about it throughout the week that this might be a game where some other pieces outside the names of George Kittle and Debo Samuel might have to step up and perform. A lot of people throughout the week in our chat talked about Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings, although he didn't have a ton of receptions, 3 receptions for 28 yards, still was able to get that touchdown and really cook that DB off the line on the goal line. Overall, though, everyone just played fantastic on the offensive side. And again, it all kind of starts and stops with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think we feel safe to say this far along into the year that, man, this is Jimmy Garoppolo's team. I know as much as we tried to make it a quarterback competition, a quarterback controversy, it's not. This is Jimmy Garoppolo's team. He's not going anywhere. He's playing like it's his team. And I think that's one of the most important things. I think he's playing like it's his team. I think the team is acting like it's his team. And guess who follows suit next? The fan base. The fan base will soon we're one step closer to embracing Jimmy G. And again, I know it's a lot of back and forth all year, right? A lot of back and forth, but Jimmy is performing at a high level. The 49ers have won 6 out of the last 8 games. So I'll take it. I don't, like I said all year, I do not care who the quarterback is for the San Francisco 49ers, as long as they are putting us in a position to win football games. I don't care. So fantastic to see that Jimmy was balling today. I felt like with Jimmy, you can kind of sense some of his energy. You can kind of sense when he's maybe a little uncomfortable or maybe not feeling as confident. Well, I didn't sense that today. I sensed Jimmy was locked in, ready to go. And the whole offense kind of kind of vibed along with that. I mean, right? If we look at the offensive performance, we look at how everyone had a lending hand in that performance. It wasn't one person. It wasn't like we had seen in games past where Kittle just dominates or Debo just dominates. That was a team win in every sense of the word. And especially with how they started out with the turnover on the ensuing kickoff, like, man, that was a recipe for disaster, recipe for games we've seen where they've lost games, they've lost momentum. We've absolutely seen that before. So for them to be able to stick it through, again, shout out the defense for only allowing 3 points on those first 2 drives. Could have been a situation where the 49ers were down 14-0, and the complexion of this game could have been a lot different, because who knows how the play calling is adjusted, things like that. So overall, the performance on the offense was really, really good. Going over to the defensive side, um, Fred Warner had a day today. We're going to get to the guys up front, who were rushing the passer today and getting after the passer. Our defensive line was phenomenal today. But Fred Warner, obviously with no Azeez Al-Shaair, no Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner coming back and really asserting himself in this lineup was huge. So Fred Warner did a great job. Eric Armstead came away with 5 tackles. But I think if we had to take a look at it and we had to really pinpoint the defense, and we'll talk about some of the things that didn't work on the defense, because I see you guys commenting about it. The defensive line was great today. The way they got after the passer, what they were able to do with the Arden Key, DJ Jones, Nick Bosa, Jordan Willis, Givens, Armstead, Omenahue. I mean, our defensive line, I think, had to go through a bit of an evolution, because obviously with no D Ford, no Kinlaw, they were going to be huge pieces for this defense. And so they had to figure out in real time, when I say real time, in season, of how to make the adjustment, or how do we set up these lineups or these defensive line rotations for them to get the maximum use out of them. And I think we're finally starting to see that. Arden Key had a phenomenal day. I'm gonna do a little victory lap, because on our pregame show we talked specifically about Arden Key and his performance and how he could have a huge impact on this game based on what we saw with the matchups with the guards, how they've been using him recently. Today we talked about pregame how this was going to be a big time Arden Key game, and I feel pretty good about it, because I think Arden Key had a fantastic day. He was all over the place, should have had 2 sacks. But, we understand what happened with that situation with the penalty and the refs, and that's a whole other situation. Another person who deserves a lot of credit for today is Jaquaski Tart. Tart was balling. Tart made 2 crucial plays there at the end. 2 big stops. Man, this defense was all over the place. And again, Jaquaski looked like he could be out with a leg injury or something like that, but he was able to bounce back and just really make 2 huge plays at the end of the game to seal it for the 49ers. So really, really solid from him. Jimmy Ward, just like, I know we don't talk about Jimmy Ward a lot unless he's getting like a lot of turnover worthy plays, which we know are few and far between. But Jimmy Ward deserves a ton of credit for what he's doing this year and his continued effort, that huge 4th down stop. I mean, Jimmy Ward is so important to this defense. I mean, I think Jimmy Ward is a huge reason why the 49ers defense has been able to look decent with injuries at the cornerback position. Jimmy Ward is, they call him the enforcer, the eraser, the warden. There's a reason why those nicknames exist for Jimmy Ward, because this dude just is like literally that, like, oh crap, like pull in case of emergency. That's what Jimmy Ward is. Like, in case something just completely breaks down, pull the Jimmy Ward lever in case of emergency. Jimmy Ward comes flying in out of nowhere and will make a big play, make a big stop. When it looks like it could bust for a really big play. So Jimmy Ward deserves a lot of respect. Tart deserves a lot of respect for his performance. Fred Warner. Again, all the guys up front. Bosa now has 15 sacks on the year. That is now second in the NFL. He's first in the NFL in tackle for losses. And I think he's first in QB hits. And he's probably first in holding too. He's probably first in being held. I think I think there is a stat that exists that he is first in getting double teamed. So that means two people blocking him, yet he's still able to manage the second most sacks in the NFL with 15. So Nick Bosa is, I think, what we're going to hear about this week is we started to hear some Bosa conversation last week with the 2-sack game. Could have been 3-sack game. This week, we are going to hear about Nick Bosa as Defensive Player of the Year, and rightfully so. It should have been a conversation that had been happening for a couple weeks now, but we're absolutely going to be starting to talk about Nick Bosa as Defensive Player of the Year, and he very well could win Comeback Player of the Year if maybe he gets edged out for the DPOY. So hopefully this week we can build some momentum for Bosa. We're going to build a lot of hype this week for Bosa, get that Defensive Player of the Year in every one of our thoughts and our followers, everyone. We're just going to be talking about it. If you see it, retweet it. If you see it, a post, like it. If you see someone talking about Bosa, hashtag DPOY. Like that, let's go full steam ahead. Let's get Bosa's name out there and let's get this guy cooking, because getting Bosa Defensive Player of the Year fresh off an ACL injury would be absolutely insane. So that would be a big W for the guy. Would be a lot of fun. I think Marcel Harris filled in admirably. Samson Ebukam had a really nice sack. And we'll talk about Ambry Thomas. I know a lot of people want to talk about Ambry Thomas. I know he's going to get definitely a lot of backlash from this game for the performance. I'm going to choose to look at the Ambry Thomas situation from a glass half full situation. And I know that's not what anyone wants to hear. I know everyone is already coming after the boy. But what I did like about Ambry Thomas is that he was at least in position for a couple of those plays. Now we're going to tip our cap to Russell or to Gage, the wide receiver. He made a couple phenomenal plays, just going over the top of Ambry, snatching the ball. Again, a cornerback that is seasoned in this league, we expect that to be a pass breakup like right away. Like that ball shouldn't have been caught. It shouldn't have been caught. However, what I do like about that specific rep is Ambry had his head turned, completely in control, in phase with the wide receiver, was in good position, could have got his hands on the ball, but just kind of got out-muscled by Gage. So in that instance, and then he almost had the interception on the sideline to Pitts. Pitts makes a good play, rips the ball out, and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. Ambry Thomas, probably will be a game that he would like to forget, and a lot of fans as well. But I will say he is at least was in position and not just like 5 yards down the field, just completely toasted and burnt. That's at least better. Okay. We can at least look at the situation and be like, all right, well, Ambry wasn't getting toasted. He was at least in position to make plays. He didn't. That's another story. But again, he's a rookie, second career start. I'm not going to bring out and sharpen my pitchfork and come after the young kid in his second performance. Do we want to see him perform better for a third-round pick? Of course, yes, we do. But perspective matters, and for his second career start, I'm gonna be gentle on the kid. We'll come after Ambry Thomas when the time is right, but right now is not the time. He did okay, considering the circumstances. So it's okay. If he can continue to get better and now take that positioning and take one notch up, and we're past breakups, hey, we're happy. We're happy in those situations. So don't give up on the kid just yet. Don't give up on the kid just yet. Positioning wise, okay. Technique wise, okay. There's some things that we can work with. Overall outcome, not the desire that we would like. However, we can conceptualize and figure out how to make that work potentially in the future. That's it. Wasn't a great game. He got cooked a little bit. But at least he didn't get cooked like someone else. So it is what it is. I think Ambry Thomas is going to be okay. Once he takes that next step to finishing, it's going to be a different story. So that's kind of how I see it playing out. I think the biggest takeaway, obviously we can drill into each position, we can drill into each situation. I just think the biggest takeaway is from this game is the energy from the team. I think the energy from coaching to quarterback to offense to defense to special teams, and again, amidst some adversity, it wasn't a perfect game. And still, even without it being a perfect game, it just felt like the energy was there in a way that we hadn't really seen it this year. So that's very, very optimistic in my opinion. If you guys, I see some people asking me questions on Instagram. If you guys want to ask me some questions, go for it. I got you guys on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. So if you do want to pop some questions in, feel free. YK says, I got a question for you, Brad. Who would be our ideal wild card matchup? The Cowboys? Ooh. I would actually like the Cowboys, facing the Cowboys based on that's a hard one, because if you're looking at it between the Packers, there's going to be some good teams the 49ers are going against. The Cowboys could be a good matchup. I like the Packers, but just because based on how we understand the Packers understand us. I think this game earlier in the year, to me, showed how the 49ers could actually overcome what the Packers are if they play 60 minutes of full football. So I kind of like the Packers still, if they are available. That would be nice. And or someone said over here, Thomas said, I want to play Arizona. Hey, I wouldn't mind playing Arizona in the playoffs. That would be fun. CJ says, what do I think about our defense? I think our defense is great for what it is. Again, considering the injuries that they've had, we talked about the injuries to Kinlaw. We talked about the injuries to D Ford on the defensive line, how they had to shuffle some of that stuff around. Again, we've had rotating linebackers with I don't think Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and Azeez Al-Shaair have been healthy for more than 2 games together, and I don't even know if those were full games. So, I mean, what they've been able to do with kind of some of the situations with the injuries that they have, I think the defense has been playing pretty well. I think the defense has been pretty dang good. Because again, what they're having to do is they're having to overcome a lot. So I think it's been pretty fun. So I don't know. It's hey, this is what we wanted, guys, right? We wanted playoff football. We wanted this pressure. We wanted this and we got it. And so stop it. Oh, goodness. And so we got it, guys. We got it. We're right there. We talked about every game being one game playoff from here on out. And that's exactly how we got to operate. That's the vibe. That's how, short week. Like, do we even get a victory Monday? What is victory Monday tomorrow is going to be like half victory Monday, half on to Tennessee Titans, because the 49ers see Tennessee on Thursday. So we're going to be talking victory Monday, but we're also going to be like, hey, we got the Titans coming up. So I'm pretty excited, man. I'm pretty excited. I feel good. There have been plenty of times where the 49ers have won and I haven't felt good. So this to me has been one of the more convincing wins. And again, it's the Atlanta Falcons. We understand that they were hobbled. They don't have no Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley. Um, we understand that I think we were a better team on paper. I think we were, but it was also up to this team to come out and do it and get the W. So I think that this continued type of mentality can transfer into next week, especially in a game with Tennessee. How do you think we'll do in the back? How do we think we're going to do against Julio? I don't know if Julio is going to play. We're already hearing news that he could potentially be out against the 49ers. So I don't know if it's official. I don't know if they're calling him out for this particular game on Sunday, if they are playing today. But essentially, there is concern that Julio Jones will miss the game against the 49ers on Thursday. So it's going to be quite the game this Thursday. All eyes on the 49ers. It is going to be prime time. You heard one of the announcers say it on the way out of the broadcast. 49ers are the hottest team in the NFL right now. Again, with how they're playing, how they're trending, everything is going in the right direction. So hopefully we continue to progress. FIF Insider says, will we get any game-changing players back around playoff time? Yeah, I would hope that Emmanuel Moseley is back. Emmanuel Moseley is on short-term IR as of now, so maybe another week or so before Emmanuel Moseley comes back. But Emmanuel Moseley has been missed, and if we can get Emmanuel Moseley back for a playoff run, I think that brings our chances up even greater, because I think we know Emmanuel Moseley was playing phenomenal. If we get Fred Warner and Azeez Al-Shaair healthy together playing at the same time, whoo, 49ers are going to be hard to beat. So I'm really excited with those guys coming back. We'll see about Dre Greenlaw when his return is going to be. Hufanga went down, I think, a little bit. We'll figure out exactly what's going on with him, if that's going to be a serious injury or not. But Elijah Mitchell should be returning hopefully soon. Again, he's having some issues with his knee. So I actually wouldn't mind, for right now, keeping Elijah Mitchell kind of on the sideline, letting him get healthy. Because, again, the 49ers, if they want to go into the playoffs and they want to make a run, we all understand that the 49ers run game is going to be paramount to their success throughout the playoffs. And so a guy like Elijah Mitchell, we need him as healthy as possible, especially heading into that time frame. There is potential that Trey Sermon returns this week against the Titans, so we could be getting some extra help there. But like I said, I think the biggest key is we want these running backs healthy going in to the playoff run. Of course, everyone else as healthy as possible. But the momentum is headed in the right direction as we inch closer to the playoffs. So I think that's really one of the most exciting things is just how well they are playing at the time in which they are playing. December football, we talk about it a lot. We talk about the difference between December football and the difference between September football and just how insanely different it is. Absolutely solid win today for Don Burr. Shout out Don Burr, Lions legend, 49ers content creator legend, taking down Arizona today. So shout out Don Burr for taking care of business for us. It's going to be really interesting to see how all the seeding really plays out in the end, because that these games are turning out to be pretty crucial. This game against the Falcons was a crucial game in regards to playoff seeding. They had to have it. They absolutely had to have this one. So right now, the 49ers are only one game out behind the 5th seed. The 5th seed is the Rams. So again, why it's imperative that the 49ers treat every single game from here on out as if it's a mini playoff game, because each game will have an impact on seeding. And so I think the 49ers, if they can continue this march that they're on, stacking W's, they somehow jump the Rams, because again, 49ers already got one win on the Rams. If we make it 2, we're definitely going to jump the Rams in regards to record for the most part. So one game at a time, though. One game at a time. So with that type of mentality, we just keep marching on. I'm really excited to really watch this game back. I'm most excited to watch the offensive line. You guys already know the offensive line is like my baby, and I study them every week. I watch, I get the all 22. We watch the plays over and over and over again from the offensive line, and I'm very excited to flood the timeline this week with offensive line clips, because I already saw from the broadcast a ton of blocking highlights from guys like Trent Williams, Brunskill, Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, even Compton. There was blocking highlights from Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk. There was blocking highlights from everyone. George Kittle. So I'm excited to have tons of blocking highlights out there this week. Because again, when that team is blocking and they're doing exactly what they want to do from that perspective, oh boy, are they hard to stop. So, man, that was a great win. It was a great way to end this Sunday. Not as stressful as a game as the Bengals, thankfully. But also shout out to Levi Stadium. Levi Stadium sounded like the noise was through the roof. It felt like through the TV that it was a playoff style atmosphere from the crowd, just from what I've heard through the TV. So, hey, a lot of people might not like Levi's, the structure. I don't think it's a bad stadium. I think it's a pretty solid stadium. But you cannot deny when those fans are in those stands, and you give them something to cheer about, the faithful show up. I'm telling you. Been to multiple games there this year. When you give them something to cheer about, they're going to go nuts. So shout out to everyone who was at Levi Stadium, because it sounded like they were a factor today with their energy and all the noise that they brought to the table. So that's another thing that we cannot, skim right past, because we saw how it was affecting them. They were getting frustrated. They were like calling timeouts. They were beside themselves. And that's part of Levi Stadium right there. That's part of the vibe. That's part of the energy that the fans brought today. Man, if this team gets hot at the right time, this fan base gets hot at the right time again, we understand, man. We understand the people and the conversations that continue to happen around the quarterback position and all that stuff. At the end of the day, if we're fans of this team and we want them to win, we don't care who the quarterback is. Like, really, do we care? Because as long as this team is making steps and getting better and performing at a high level to the point where they're right there in the playoff hunt, I think we're in a good spot. So I think you're seeing how the team is responding to Jimmy. I think Jimmy is answering the call. So with Jimmy Garoppolo, how he's been playing, you just have to tip your cap. Again, amidst all the adversity, amidst all the talking heads, amidst all the conversations, I mean, there are people literally fighting wars over this person and like taking they're reading stuff and they're feeling emotionally hurt by things that are said over Jimmy Garoppolo. At the end of the day, hey, we're winning. Dubs only. You know the vibe. We don't care. We don't care. I mean, it was what it was at the beginning of the year, but right now we're on to Tennessee. That was a great W. It was a great performance by Jimmy. It was a great performance by the offensive line. Great performance by Jeff Wilson. Great performance by Kittle. Great performance by Juwan, Ayuk, Debo. Great performance by Kyle Shanahan. Shout out to the whole squad. Defensive side, defense looks okay. Defense looks pretty solid. And again, if we get Emmanuel Mosley back, then we're cooking with gas. So pretty excited with the performance. Pretty excited. Again, like I said, the mentality, the vibe, the energy. It was up today. So we really, really enjoyed it all. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. I'm going to go. I'm in Tahoe. But you know me, no days off. We're always working. Especially when the Niners get the W. Woo! Let's go. But I'm going to go enjoy my family, enjoy this W with my family, enjoy it out here in the snow. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And guess what tomorrow is, guys? It's Victory Monday. And you know we're going to be bringing that content on fleek tomorrow. The Victory Monday content is always undefeated. So we will see you guys tomorrow. We're also going to be doing a live tomorrow. We're going to get more in depth, kind of break everything down, get into it and get through it all. Shout out my boys. Luke, we see you out there on YouTube. Shout out to Sourdough Squad. We see you guys always supporting the channel. We appreciate you. Instagram, you guys know you hold a special place in my heart. So I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Be blessed. I'll do a snow angel.